With all that is going on, I think sometimes it's good to take a little lighthearted break. Still on the subject of not lighthearted things, but some humor. And for that, we're going to go to Sarah Cooper. Sarah Cooper went super viral some time ago for her lip syncing of Trump statements. And something about seeing her speaking as if she's Trump, but hearing Trump's voice emphasizes how ridiculous what he's saying is. Because when you see him, you just assume, it's sort of, you normalize it. And that's the point that I want to get to a little later, a more serious point. But here, it's just so fascinating where she did a lip sync to, and in so doing was mocking Trump for his boat electrocution shark rant. And we will look back at her most viral one of these from years ago and then have that discussion that I want to have.
I went to a boat company in South Carolina. The boat, I said, how is it? He said, it's a problem, sir. They want us to make all electric boats. So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater? And there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards. Or here, do I get electrocuted if the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
So good. It's so funny because, again, before playing her most viral one, because Trump has numbed us out, which is what I'll get to later, which is a much more serious topic, with his incoherence, with his ridiculousness, we see those words coming out of his mouth and go, yep, that's Trump being Trump. By lip syncing it, she shows us if any other normal person were saying this, we would just be completely baffled. And with the mishaps in the debate from Biden and just his track record of gaffes, I think if he went up on stage and said that word for word, there would be 10 times the coverage of it across the media. Biden, he's lost it. What is he talking about? Electrocution, battery, boat. And Biden doesn't know that batteries are in all boats. So, and just his brain goes, oh, there's a lot of shark attacks, squirrel. So I do think there's that, as we come back to so often, unequal way that the candidates get covered, held to different standards. But here is this very viral moment, and you'll recognize it right when I click play.
Acuity test, and he said there actually is, and he named it, whatever it might be. And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like a memory question, it's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's person, woman, man, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions. And then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And That's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them, and that's okay. If you repeat them out of order, it's okay, but you know, it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question, they don't tell you this, go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm...
Yeah. You know, say what you will, and there's plenty to say, not denying that, about the efficacy of communication from Biden, especially the debate. When you hear him talk, you can you can tell that it's a matter of getting what's in his head out of his mouth effectively, right? Numbers are spitting out, you're getting the general point. There's clearly a foundation of knowledge there. Trump can very confidently say things that indicate how little's going on in the brain. So more confidently saying nonsense than less confidently saying things that actually have some basis in a foundation of knowledge. If you appreciate watching this show and you're not already subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Easy, free, but it makes a huge difference. Back to the video. I want to play some clips from interviews I've recently done with Trump supporters to illustrate a connected point. So again, Trump has been able to make us numb to his absurdity, which is why one ramble like those two, if Biden were to do it, not a mental glitch or a sort of a stutter or something, but instead just a whole ramble about something that is just so strange, would get a ton of coverage, as opposed to that particular one got a lot of coverage because of how crazy it was, but the shark one would get less coverage because Trump has made us numb to his absurdity. He's also made us numb to his horrible nature, to the horrible scandals. And if one scandal that Trump has gone through had been experienced by a presidential candidate in the past, it would have been all of the talk would have taken them down. Trump can have 20 of them, and he's still the presumptive nominee of one of the 2 major parties in the most powerful country on the planet. For example, before so many had piled up, the grab them by the P word tape. Everyone talked about that. Every single person, almost every American knows generally about that story. But then, so there he's bragging about sexually assaulting a woman. But then when he actually was found liable for sexually assaulting a woman in a trial, less people know that that happened. And so Trump benefits from the fact that Americans are numbed out. And then right-wing media can do sort of pro-Trump propaganda, and people go, I know there's a lot of things people say are bad about him, but I don't know. I'm hearing that he's going to be great and fix everything. And then you have these supporters who don't actually know him, but think they support him. And here's some examples.
Most voting population isn't researching very deeply into most topics, even ones they pronounce to or profess to care about.
The falsification of business records had nothing to do with him already being president.
Right, which are... And I don't know enough about that one to go through it exactly, but
And what motivates your support of Trump?
Well, some of the things that he did back in 2016 to 2020. I mean, he did some fantastic stuff for this country. And close the borders off, build the wall, take care of Putin, take care of Xi over there in China, take care of the little Korean guy over there shooting the rockets off, the missiles off.
And by take care,
all of that.
And but you kind of like how much he loves them.
Loves who?
Xi Jinping, the people you're mentioning, Kim Jong-un.
Xi Jinping.
Oh, he loves Xi Jinping.
John is great, and she is a great gentleman. He's now president for life. No, he's great. Hey, look, he was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday. And he treated us tremendously well when I went over there.
Well, that's your opinion, Senator.
Okay.
We're all done with the interview, okay?
What? Okay. Quick.
He's never been...
So, before going further, by the way, if you want to watch this full video, we'll link it in the description below. a full 22 minutes of these interviews. It was just wild in Racine, Wisconsin. But it's not just to mock. Oh, you don't know. It's you have the slogan on your hat, or you have Trump on your shirt, greatest president, and then you don't know things about him. I'm not asking you yet to know why he's bad, but can you at least know things about him so that I can explain why those things are bad? But we'll get to people not knowing he's a civilly liable rapist. No, you don't get to you do. You're right. But logically, you can't support someone and not know about some of the primary components of scandals they've gone through, to say it in the most kind way imaginable. If you say you like them, as we'll get to, because of their character, you should know about their character. And being someone who is found to have sexually abused a woman in a civil trial is a part of what makes you you. It's part of your character.
You're part of
a bunch of people.
Let me just say this.
All right.
You're repping for.
You know what?
That hates the United States.
What?
You should be
I
ashamed of
love
yourself.
the United
You
States.
guys hate.
Shooting the rockets off.
Oh no.
The missiles off.
I don't know what happened there. Let me go back to this guy.
hate America.
If you hate the Constitution,
Yeah, they hate. the
right?
Constitution.
Okay, so who said a massive fraud of this type magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution? Who said that,
Joe
sir?
Biden said that. Joe Biden said the Constitution is not. Is not.
Is that Trump's
perfect.
Truth Social or Biden's?
I don't know.
Does character matter in your leaders?
Character, yeah, and that's why we love Trump, because he's awesome.
He has high character.
Absolutely.
He was found liable of sexual abuse in a civil trial. So I see that you're repping women for Trump, and you feel qualified to represent that because came out of a woman, you know women.
I just really appreciate women. I appreciate women that appreciate Trump. And
Do you find it important for Trump to appreciate and respect women?
absolutely, yes,
Do you know where this is going?
I do.
Go there for me.
Grab her by the.
Okay, it gets even worse. You know he was found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial?
I really don't go into the trials as far as the indictments.
Trump in a civil trial somewhat recently was found to have raped a woman.
Don't know about that, and I
Really?
no.
Okay. So, I'm sure part of what you're thinking is, but they won't care if you tell them about it. True. In part. Many of them won't. But I do think, not the hardcore supporters necessarily, but there's a cohort of the United States that if they were informed very objectively about everything that has happened, all of the criminal cases, what evidence was brought forward in them, the civil cases, him being a fraudster, adjudicated, him being a sexual abuser, adjudicated, the ways that he tried to prevent Biden coming into office even though Biden won the election, him calling for the termination of the Constitution. I think a lot of Americans would be opposed to voting for him, but maybe they don't know those things. At least I like to believe that. Because sure, there are the people in this particular video, as you can see if you go watch the full thing, who say, I want a dictator Trump. That's what I want. Yes. I don't know what that noise was, but and that is a group, but I don't think that's the majority of people who are gonna go vote for Trump, right? So then, the reason I connect this to Sarah Cooper is because the same reasons we're numbed to his absurdity, incoherence, etc. Sort of the cartoonish nature of him, where we only really remember how bizarre his rhetoric is when someone else does the lip syncing and you're thinking, oh wait, now that I see a different person, this all becomes very weird, even though it's the same exact audio. It's a similar thing here, where even people who like him have been or have become numb to stories that are negative, and they've tuned them out. I don't really keep up with the trials. What? Here's an example. Biden was accused of all sorts of things under the sun by Republicans. I had a suspicion they were going to be inaccurate because of those Republicans' track record, but I looked into them like you want to believe. We've done segment after segment going through in a very detailed way the allegations they've made and why they're not accurate. But if in digging through those things we had found something concerning, then at least we'd come across it and we could talk about it, and we could maybe have our view of Biden change. But they won't even look into things like criminal trials or civil trials of the guy they say they love so dear. That's weird, and I do think that comes from not one scandal in an election cycle, then everyone can pay attention, but 500 where people start going, I don't even want to pay attention. I'm just going to listen to the media people who say he's great. Very, very scary. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to support the work we do, you can do so by clicking the join button below. And it's sort of, you support us, we give you extra content. So you can click the join button below to get the daily bonus show.